Hey everyone, welcome to Season 4, Episode 8 of the Film Bros Chip Podcast. I am Tim, and with me is my co-host Patrick. F you, buddy.
He's so mad at me.
I was so miserable watching this movie. I knew I was going to be miserable watching this movie. This is by far the worst Chuck Norris movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, this is worse than that one bad one from season 1.
Yeah.
This was real horrific. And like, you know how I know it's that bad? Is so I kind of pushed it in on a Sunday night after coming home from the Sunday night at the parents' dinner, and I don't have my laptop with me, so I'm doing it on my phone. My notes as I'm watching the movie, and my kids wouldn't even watch this kids movie. Like, they're even like, what is this? Like, my kids knew that this movie was garbage. Like, it was lowbrow for them.
You know, this is actually Top Dog is actually shorter than Force Vengeance.
Doesn't feel it. Doesn't feel it.
I had fun with it, at how bad it was.
Oh,
I mean, I have this thing ranked very low. No doubt about it. It is a piece of trash.
It's
but
rough.
I'm laughing at it like most of the time. She's like, "What? No, you can't do that. That's
some
terrible."
of the tropiness that it gets into at times kind of makes me laugh, but not in a great way. I don't know. Well, I was angry. I was irate watching this movie.
Well, through a lot of Top Dog, you know, it's definitely built as a comedy for the whole family, right? Definitely.
Yeah.
But Chuck plays it straight for a lot of it. Like, there's a part in this movie where he has a conversation with the dog that he is giving as if it was a human being, and I lost it. It's just like, what? No.
I think there was only like one scene I can think of where he seems to be kind of maybe attempting a little bit more fun with the delivery of the line towards the dog, and that's about it.
You'll have to point that out to me, because Chuck is Chuck.
Yeah, it's during an action moment.
Let me cheat towards.
It's barely. I'm just.
There's not a lot of that. Yeah. Let me cheat to a little bit. There's an oral history for this movie.
Okay.
Well, God bless the guys. Oh man, I'm a bad host. So how did this get made? Cover this movie a while back.
Okay.
And so there was a guy, Slash Film. I forget what it was. Hold on a second. Let me just pull it up. Slash Film. And Blake Harris would do oral histories of the movies that they would cover, and he did one for this one. He grabbed like the writer, the editor, and a couple of other people, just like the dog trainer, to talk about the movie. So he created some sort of a mini oral history. My favorite quote is from the editor, the movie, Peter Schink. He says, "I don't mean to disparage Chuck too much, but from an editing standpoint, we would always sort of say, when in doubt, cut to the dog, because the dog was really solid."
Do you think he just like, this is his version of phoning it in this one, or what? I don't understand.
So let me give you a little backstory for this. So
okay,
he decided he was not planning on doing any more movies. Sidekicks had just come out like a year or two before this, and he had hooked up with CBS to start doing Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh, wow.
And he just wrapped up the first season and was just going to spend the summer with his family. And they brought him this movie. He's like, "Oh, I read the script. I think it was so good, I couldn't pass it up." So,
oh boy, couldn't pass this one up.
Couldn't pass it up. So they went for it. They're like, well, from the director is his brother Aaron, his younger brother Aaron Norris, and the writer was like a friend of his, and they would just go bike riding together. And they're like, family movies. Sidekicks, huge hit. Let's just do more of that. And they're like, well, what, we just put him with a dog. It worked for Jim Belushi and Tom Hanks. Why not?
Yeah, two incredibly charismatic actors.
Yeah, isn't that the thing?
With someone who could hardly emote.
That's the nicest thing anyone said about Jim Belushi in years. But yeah, it's true. Jim Belushi is charismatic.
Yeah, whether you like him or not. I mean, he still has a charisma
I
to
like
him.
him.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But yeah, K-9's a good movie. This is not that. And
No.
I don't know. At a certain point, I just laughed at it. Like, come on, get the fuck out of here.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I really couldn't.
Yeah.
There was enough to bring out my furious anger in this movie. It's
terrible, Sam Jackson. You usually better at this.
Oh wow, that hurts. Okay.
So, I gotta tell you, your anger, which you were texting me about, because we were basically watching this movie at the same time, you were a little ahead of me, added to my enjoyment.
Is that what it is?
Oh, it just made it even better because like I'm watching this thing, like Tim's so angry.
Yeah,
Tim, you're just texting me like, fuck you some more, fuck you harder. Like, what?
It was painful. I really didn't get any joy out of this, and I feel like at least I should get enjoyment with a dog. I'm a big dog fan, but
I enjoyed the dog.
There was not enough. It was. You even had to say, yeah, I guess the editor kind of said it, as you said. At some point, you just feel bad for the dog. Like, even you can't help this shit. That's how freaking awful this thing is. Like, not even a dog could save this movie.
Well, I gotta tell you, I will grant you that Forced Vengeance is a better movie than this.
Yes, it is.
But I had more fun watching this just because I was laughing at it so bad, how bad it was.
I think there was at least some silver lining I can pull out of Forced Vengeance. Like, oh, that was kind of cool. Oh, we didn't need to see it again, but okay. Like there's some things like, okay, I can kind of appreciate. I think his character was at least way more interesting in Forced Vengeance. This one is
well, let's get into it.
It's rough. Yeah, let's just go for it. Let's get into
the 1995 action star. Chuck Norris plays Jake Wilder.
Yeah, what a name, huh? Jake Wilder.
Lieutenant Jake Wilder. I love that it made him a lieutenant. Like, you're a little too old to just make you a detective.
Right.
You have to beef you up in rank and pretend that you're in charge of people, even though you're not in charge of anyone in this movie. Except maybe the dog.
He works alone, Patrick.
He works alone, Tim.
He works alone. That one definitely got a little smirk out of me. I was just like,
he's called back off suspension to solve the murder of Sergeant Reno, the dog's partner's murder.
Right.
Who turned out to be white supremacist terrorists. By the way, this is a children's movie that is rated PG-13.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It starts off with them blowing up buildings.
Nice explosion.
Of, like, innocent people.
Nice explosion.
Okay. Sure,
They had some nice explosions in this movie. You can't take that away from them.
But they make him this, like, such a, like, Riggs, just rip-off stereotype.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? It's just, like, he's waking up and there's, like, his place is a mess. He's a slob. There's, like, supposed to be beer cans or beer bottles. Like, yeah, okay. Like, none of it is believable. And he doesn't sell a single second of it at all. It's really awful.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give this to Chuck Norris. He has a more believable alcoholic's body than Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon 2.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So our heroes are Lieutenant Jake Wilder, played by Chuck Norris, and Sergeant Reno, played by Briard French sheepdogs Digby and Betty. When I say Jake Wilder is a watered-down version of Lethal Weapon's Martin Riggs, I mean like 98% water.
Right.
He's got longish hair, not quite a mullet, absolute slob, and his captain hates him because he breaks so many rules.
But he gets a lot of accommodations and medals at the same time.
Yeah. So Reno
also gets a lot of medals and accommodations.
The same exact amount. is a good boy dog cop with the ability to sniff out just about any narcotic or explosive, and sometimes machine guns, and sometimes hidden compartments containing picture books of the terrorist site's attack.
Which is somehow like
Good nose.
Evidence. Like, what evidence is this? So we gotta get the picture book back. It's like, how is this the smoking gun?
Lets them know where the sites are they're going to attack.
Oh my gosh.
He can disarm and take out an assailant quicker than any dog or person, and he somehow has an identical police record as Jake. Arrests, convictions, suspensions, all the same.
Except there was like one thing that was like better or something, wasn't there like one because he like was trying to basically show off like, hey, you're the same, but he does this one thing better than you, so I guess the dog is better than you. It was kind of the gist, and I forget what the one thing was.
You were paying closer attention than I was, I guess. I don't know.
All right, fair enough. Who cares? This movie sucks.
Reno has a bit more character than Jake. They gave the dog more character.
So. But we still don't know, like, they recognize that this dog is not a normal police dog. He is not the normal type of police dog or anything like that. But we don't find out anything more to that other than that's a fact. Like, it's just...
Yeah, he's about the same size as my dog, but he's a Briard sheepdog. So we at least learned that my guy loves the television show Cops.
He likes jelly donuts.
And rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
And lazy boy recliners and scarves, which you wouldn't think you'd see much of since this movie takes place in San Diego. But we needed that character trait for one last bad joke at the end of the movie.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not sure if Reno is an incredible actor who fakes being shot or he was legitimately shot and swam to shore and recovered in a month. The movie did not make that clear. Either way,
no, it was impressive.
Incredible.
I definitely liked the moment of seeing the little doggy kind of like doggy paddle back to shore as he somehow made it out or whatever.
I love doggy paddle.
Yeah.
Do you like my Andre?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, anybody want a peanut?
I laughed the first time Jake walks into the police station with wrinkled clothes and sunglasses. He looked like a fake blind guy hustling for quarters.
Yeah, I guess we're trying to show that he's hungover or whatever. It's
right,
like, okay.
But that's not what he looks like. He looks like he's trying to hustle for quarters.
Well, it's again like he's not a good actor.
No.
So we're gonna try to make him be something like so not him.
Yeah.
And it's just rough.
We're gonna pretend that Chuck Norris is a guy who doesn't respect authority. All right. Come on, that's not his wheelhouse. Yeah. Let's not do that.
Doesn't respect authority, like slob disheveled. Like no, this man is always pretty pristine in the way he looks. He tucks his shirts in, like you know what I mean. And that untucked look did not last. Like it almost
they eventually got him into a 1990s suit.
Yeah, like I gotta put a jacket on and I gotta tuck my shirt in. I can't leave my shirt untucked for this long. I can't do it.
I wonder if it was like I don't know. Chuck's getting a little older. He can't wear the tight jeans and do the roundhouse kicks as much anymore. I need some looser clothing now.
Oh,
that's what it felt like.
That's all he does in this movie.
He certainly is.
Okay.
I laughed my ass off when I noticed that they gave Sergeant Reno, a picture name tag at the police station.
Oh God, yeah. What is that? Is it like a necklace thing? Is it clipped on to his hair?
It's like a little lanyard they have around it.
It's so dumb.
It is so dumb. That's why I was laughing.
I hate it.
Truly some of the worst acting Chuck has ever done when he's beefing with Reno. You don't even look like a police dog is kind of funny, though. It's like all right. That kind of worked.
No, there's no emotion in anything.
No.
That he, like, there's no inflection in his voice ever. Like, it's just this deadpan delivery to every single thing he does, whether he's talking to a villain, the dog, or the chief, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like the same all the time. It's so bad.
I laughed again at Chuck being forced to drive Lou's old car to make Reno happy, but 99% sure it was because budgetary reasons, because that reasoning is absurd. Have you ever known a dog to be like, no, I don't like that car. I want to be in my car. Dogs don't give a shit. Car, let's go. As long as I'm with you. That's all I care about.
Well, some dogs don't like car trips at all, but it's not like they turn their nose up to any certain car or anything. But yeah, it's dumb. And I'm pretty sure it was like mostly 80-yard line too, when they had it like as they're walking into the house.
Oh, it felt like exactly that. Like,
throwaway line here.
We can only afford this one car, so let's throw this line of dialogue in here.
Did you notice his house is like? Is this his house or is this like a summer camp location? Like the it was almost looking like a log cabin at times. There's like this tablecloth that you would see at like a summer camp type thing. You know, the red and white checkered like tablecloth and stuff that almost seemed like stapled to the back end of the table. It's like, what is this?
Yeah, cheap slob. That's definitely what they were going for.
Yeah.
I did forget about this. They actually just might feature some of the best acting. If the one scene has like some of the best acting I've ever seen from Chuck Norris in a movie. So trust me. So some crazy sounding detective walks in and begs to be in the case and offers to shave her head and go undercover. And Jake says to let her know if they need her. And then when she leaves, he kind of just like stares and deadpans like, I wonder what she'd look like with a shaved head.
I do remember that.
And he nailed it, and I was like, that was funny. What's going on?
I don't know about nail it, but okay.
For him,
it's definitely the most life that he ever has.
I have never seen Chuck Norris deliver comedy so well. I was literally in shock. It was a great deadpan. By the way, it turns out that actress who did that scene was the one who sang with Rob Lowe as Snow White at the Oscars.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. You want to talk about another train wreck? Go ahead and look that one up on YouTube.
I'm good.
Yeah. You've seen it, right?
I don't think so.
Oh.
So I stopped watching award shows.
Well, this was in 1989, so this is like we were not watching award shows yet.
Oh yeah.
But it's something. It's always been announced with like the one of the most worst Oscar moments ever. Okay. So, Matthew Swanson at one point, grandson of Lou, takes Reno to the dog show. Should we be taking our dogs to the dog show? This is like a spectator event for the dogs.
Why is this in the hero category? But
because Reno's here and Reno's a hero. And Reno steals the Best in Show prize. Then Matthew struggles to find the best sunglasses and hat combo for Reno. He settles on a Red Baron look like Snoopy, and then Reno drives a car away. What the fuck is this movie?
I don't know. It's such a weird moment. It's super bizarre. I don't know. It's so garbage.
There's nothing like it in the movie. It's like all of a sudden he drives away in the car, and like Matthew's like, oh, gotta go chase after him. Like,
someone's like, man, this is garbage. We need more dog. Like, what do you want the dog to do? I don't know. Make it do something.
Let's go up with something. We need to
bring the kid. Chuck's not going to come out if it's not in the script. Just bring the kid.
That's exactly right. And then the last thing I want to mention in this category, which is
I'm already mad that we're talking about this category for this long.
Well, because this also was one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. It made me laugh. I mentioned this earlier.
Ever seen? Wow.
Well, Jake earnestly telling Reno that he's a good cop, but he could never be his dog because he had a dog when he was a kid and he can't love again.
I missed this one.
It's right.
Missed that one.
Right before they break into the white supremacist place, he just strikes up a conversation with the dog, and he's like, "Reno, you're a good cop. But that's all it'll ever be. I had a dog when I was a kid. We go hunting, fishing, did everything together. I just can't do that again."
See, what would have been funny is if all of a sudden you turn this into like a slapstick thing and you start crying and all, like, you know what I mean, like going over the top of it, right?
Yeah, if they had brought Charlie Sheen to do this would have been a great movie.
Right.
This honestly would have been a really funny Zucker Brothers movie. But with Chuck Norris, it's unintentionally funny, and it's funny. I'm just dying because of it. Because he's doing this so earnestly. As earnest as Chuck can do it, which makes it even better for me.
You're making me want to go down in points.
Well, I gave it a 1.5, even after I'm saying all this stuff. So it's not like a... And I gave it that extra half point for the dog, because the dog is good in this.
I was gonna go 1 for the longest time, and then I changed it at the last second to a 1.5 because, again, the same reasoning. it's kind of hard to not give the dog a little something.
Yeah.
Chuck deserves nothing.
Yeah, that's
nothing.
Okay.
He's so bad.
He's not good in this movie at all.
Really bad.
Yeah. So what's your final? I give it a 1.5. What do you got it?
I gave it a 1.5.
Oh, okay. Well, look at that.
I get it again. The half point was for the dog.
Yeah, exactly, for the dog.
Yeah.
Digby and Betty did a good job. Digby was the face dog, and Betty was more of an action dog. But Betty had just given birth, so one of her boobs was hanging a little low, so they had to tape her up occasionally.
Oh, dear
Which
Lord.
honestly, kind of just horrified to think about that for the poor dog. But they had like all the right people on set to make sure the dog wasn't actually in any kind of serious pain. But still,
okay.
Villain. Not much to say here.
I would hope not. I was about to say, if this category is talked about as long as the last one, I'm going to get even more upset.
Definitely not. Our villain is white supremacist terrorists. Their
goal is to unite all of the white supremacist groups.
I caught one of the names, not the other one.
Watch the world burn? I don't know.
So there was like one with brown hair that had lines and one with blonde hair.
Otto is one.
I think that's the one I didn't catch the name for. So Otto.
Yeah, Otto seemed to be like the real like evil-ish one that did most of the speeches, I guess. And then the other one,
the money man,
more the corporate guy. He wore the more suits.
Yeah, that's
but
Carl
that's the one
Kohler.
I didn't catch. Yeah, see, that's the one I didn't catch. Okay.
So I enjoyed. Hold it! I'm a cop. I don't care. And then bang, shoots Lou dead. I was like, oh, that's just a nice introduction to this villain who never really gets to do much of anything else for the rest of the movie.
Nope. Basically takes a back seat to the other one.
Yeah. The terrorist training sequence is one of the dorkiest, unintentionally dorkiest things I've ever seen. This is not a kill! Bang, bang, bang. That is a kill!
Yeah, Colt just point blank firing and killing someone.
You really got that cardboard cutout good, man. Congratulations.
So dumb.
And then I laughed again at the racist terrorists have their boardroom meeting. It looked like a bank's executive boardroom meeting inside this like abandoned factory. Where all the terrorists came by for a talk, the white supremacist terrorists. Carl Kohler, the rich racist bad guy, wants to unite the Ku Klux Klan, the Aryan Nation, the White Aryan Resistance, the Church of the Creator, and many others. And then they all Nazi salute each other. That's all I have to say about this category.
Yep. It's a 1.
Yeah. Big time.
Without a doubt. I mean, there's just nothing really here. There's barely a plan other than uniting them all together and blowing some stuff up. Oh no, they foiled us by finding our C4. And I mean, that's about it. Yeah. I mean, gosh, again, what a great other slapstick moment too, to really blow out that training sequence and make it like a Bond type villain thing. And just
I've seen Civil War reenactments look cooler than that shit was. Like that was
it's rough.
Bad.
Yeah.
So the movie actually starts off with a really nice explosion, which I mentioned earlier. As two white supremacists. It's a good boom.
Yeah, I mean, I have explosion, exclamation point, and then a lot, meaning a lot of explosions. And then my next one is like, wow, look at this title card of this movie. Like, oh my God. And then my next action scene after that is, ooh, look, a BMX jump.
I laughed at that. They gave the kid a nice couple of jumps there, yeah.
2. They give him 2 in the whole movie.
I didn't write it up, but you're right.
Some for the kids.
Right. I did write up Reno the Renegade Cop Dog, disobeying a direct order and going to the burning building because he hears a crying baby, who he miraculously rescues mostly off screen.
But loses jelly donuts for 3 whole days.
3 days.
It's rough.
Well, you know what? Lou deserved to die. That was not cool.
A little harsh, Lou. So dumb.
So, in the middle of this movie, not in the middle, like a quarter in this movie, all of a sudden we're cut into Mexico. And these two terrorists going across the border, smuggling in C4 from Mexico in a Ford station wagon.
See, the end part of this scene is the only time that I audibly laughed.
Really?
Yes, this one made me laugh because this is like one of my favorite tropes, and it's so bad over the top with it that I just couldn't help myself.
So they look and talk like middle management accountants.
Yeah.
But Border Patrol is onto them, and so they have to make an escape. A pretty lame chase happens, where the bad guys are shooting at the cops, and they return fire until the agents eventually hit some C4, and it blows up the car in pretty spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lick of sense, but it's a pretty good explosion.
The way this car explodes and crashes is so over the top and ridiculous. It's like, I love it. And that one made me laugh.
It's probably the best action in the entire movie. It's like really lets you down after this. Especially with this next bit. So the bad guys attack Jake at his house.
Yeah.
They're armed with machine guns and plastic clown masks. One guy does a random no hands front flip.
Yes, I do have a little haha after that one. It's just like, what and why? Like, what is happening?
Didn't even have to go over anything. Just decided to do it.
Just decided to do it.
Just hyping himself up.
It kind of reminded me of that the Mortal Kombat part where he goes down the ramp and just goes, oh. Yeah. It's like, what?
Reno gets one guy down because he's already outside taking a piss. And Jake shoots another guy just runs away, and Jake runs him down. And then Jake gives him a high kick off the top of a car. This is when he's in jeans, by the way. Right. So it's very impressive that Chuck Norris is able to do this like high kick with these in jeans, because my jeans don't move that way.
You got some specially tailored. Clearly. I need some high kicking jeans.
That's right. Special order from Wrangler. So yeah, and then the guy flips away from it onto the hood of the car, and then Jake just flips him off that. Clown punches Jake in the face, and Jake barely reacts to the clown, and he gives him uh-oh. And Jake throws him through a fence and kicks his ass. The music in this sequence is insane. It's like
an Ernest movie.
I was going to say bad carnival music, but I like yours better. It's just bad. It's like, what the... Make it stop. I don't want to hear this anymore.
Yep.
And that...
Like at times it felt like this would be a made-for-TV kids movie.
Yeah.
Like something you'd see on the Disney Channel back in the day. Mm-hmm. Like in the same era.
Yep. Yeah.
Like I feel like I've heard the same stuff watching Halloween Town that my kids watch sometimes.
Although the Disney Corporation will be like, yeah, we're not doing white supremacist terrorists in a kids movie. We're not doing that.
Yeah, because that sounds like a pretty bad idea for a kids movie.
It's so much worse than you actually know yet. Because wait till I tell you what happened that week at the end of this.
Oh, dear.
So the guy in the car tries to get away, but the cops cut him off. So he turns around and is heading straight for Jake. Jake pulls out his gun and shoots the tire out. One shot, and the car slams into another and flips, and both explode. That's because we're an action movie, and cars just explode that way.
They just explode.
Car scrapes its way to Jake, and he kicks it around, and the guy in the clown mask pops his head. You're under arrest, bozo. I gave it too much energy. I did not do a good Chuck.
No, it has to be way more like dead-faced.
You're under arrest, bozo.
That's better.
Thank you. Yeah. That's my Chuck. Jake just happens to stop by a bus that's waiting for a K9 unit to find a drug stash, and the cops on site ask to use Reno. Reno seems not to want to cooperate until Jake pulls his fucking gun on the dog.
Yeah, that was a moment. Like, seriously?
Right?
This is again for kids? He just pulled a gun on the dog?
Pulled a gun on a dog. Reno sniffs around, and Jake thinks he found drugs, but it's actually just a big dude hiding in the closet. Jake gives the guy 3-4 roundhouse kicks in the face until he kicks him out the window. And all the cops assume Reno did the work because he pops
his head out. Yeah.
Which,
imagine if like a charismatic actor like did anything in this movie. It might be like somewhat more watchable. Just the moment of him pointing the gun at a dog.
You put Charlie Sheen in this.
Yeah.
And it's a beloved kids movie. Terrorists use a silencer to kill 2 cops outside, but then once they find Jake inside, they decide to go up in a circle and take him out one at a time.
Yep.
And so you get infinity roundhouse kicks to the faces after this.
So many roundhouse kicks.
It's hilarious.
Don't worry, he's got more coming for the ending sequence of this movie.
Eventually, they realize, hey, what if we all just went up at one time and hit him in the back of the head with the wrench? Great idea, guys. And then we get to my favorite bit in this movie, where Reno is alone. Reno alone. Sergeant Reno alone. And he sets up an elaborate trap where I think he would have needed to know how to use a ladder.
Yeah. He like all of a sudden gets from one place to another place. So you're like, wait, what?
Like a level higher.
Yeah.
And he knocks over like some cylinders that fall and knock a guy out. Because 2 guys, everybody else is going around Chuck, and 2 guys go get sent after the dog. And so Sergeant Reno alone, too clever.
Yeah, he's more like Batman in this moment.
Of course, near to me, I'm thinking Wolverine, Hellfire Club, and Dark Phoenix Saga, but
yeah.
So then Reno gets the next one to stand under a large wooden box so he can hit a lever to make it fall on his head. The box appears to be stuffed with packing peanuts and nothing else. And eventually Reno finds Jake, who's now tied up, and he bites through his flimsy rope in the nick of time, and Jake grabs the gun away from the bad guy and knocks him out. Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Incredible dog.
This movie sucks.
Incredible dog. 2 more bits. Jake figures out that the terrorists are going to Balboa Park to blow up the Coalition for Racial Unity.
Yeah, at the last second, we gotta throw in some non-white people into this movie.
That's not fair. You have Detective what's her name is not white.
Yeah, I know.
And the captain's not white either.
Oh, I agree, but I feel like if you look at the script, you look at the names and stuff like that, I felt like it was like the studio had a note.
Clearly, because considering...
And it was like, do you realize you made a movie trying to fight white supremacy and you've made all of the characters white?
Yeah, Clyde Kasatsu...
Can we make maybe the Callahan character Asian? Sure.
Yeah, Clyde Kasatsu, a Japanese man playing Captain Ken Callahan, and... The only time he says his name out loud is at the end of the movie, and you hear it sort of in the background. He's saying it in a way that doesn't make it sound like it's Callahan. So I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Good for him for trying.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a good point.
And it's like another. It's like if you had like Office Space, like what would you say you do here? And then she's got to be like, I gotta be here. Like. I'm the one, like, me and and Callahan here are the 2, like, non-white people that have to have some kind of, like,
agency
some kind of fight agency in this movie to fight white supremacy. It's so bad.
So anyway, at the Coalition for Racial Unity.
I was really worried, by the way, that she was going to get saved in the end, like white savior stuff in her little... chase action sequence. I was like, please don't let this happen. Please
I didn't even bother writing up her action sequence because it was such a nothing burger.
It was such a but like imagine if all of a sudden she had to be rescued by the white person. It's grosser. Like, oh no, like it would have been Lethal Weapon, not Lethal Weapon, Naked Gun, where everybody's just doing this slap in the head, like, oh no.
I love that movie. So once again, at the Coalition of Racial Unity, a thing I'll keep saying because it makes me laugh every time. The terrorists rig a limo that's carrying all the religious leaders of San Diego with a bomb. Jake is trying.
Just the image of that limo with all the. It's like we're in an SNL skit or something, and it's like, oh my god.
I'm still in the Charlie Sheen Zucker Brothers thing of it all, but I hear you. Jake is trying to disarm, but they start shooting at him. He kills one guy with a shotgun when he's like 50 plus yards away. He's like, wow. That's
impressive.
That's some Call of Duty bullshit cheating thing going on there. Shotguns do not go that far anymore. Reno sneaks behind one of the terrorists with a machine gun and knocks him off a ledge. Then SWAT arrives and most of the terrorists get blown away in really unspectacular fashion.
Yeah, really.
Jake disarms a bomb by not listening to his boss and pulls the opposite wire. It's always the red wire.
Is that Though, isn't the multiple roundhouse kicks to guys happen before that? I think too, because there's another like roundhouse kick moment in this action sequence.
I don't remember there being one, but if you say it happened, it
I'm
happened.
pretty positive there is before the bomb happens. Before he gets to the bomb underneath, he's got to take some guys out and just a bunch of roundhouse kicks.
Honestly, the roundhouse kicks really just kind of blend all into each other after a
That's
while.
fair. It's all he's got.
In this movie, that is really all he's got. Reno identifies the head terrorist, Otto, whose name I learned thanks to Tim, and Jake chases him down and just beats the shit out of him very slowly.
Yeah.
And
all of a sudden slow motion stuff cuts in. You're just like, oh, God.
But the terrorist gets scared of Reno and admits to killing Lou. Then Matthew suddenly appears and gets Reno to back off. And then Reno can't resist the scarf and rips off the Cardinals' vestment and runs away. End of a very bad movie.
Oh, shucks. Oh, dog. Oh, Reno. It's like, oh, God.
I gave it a very generous 2 for the explosions that happened in this movie. And I was like, whoa, wow. All right. Yeah, that's fair. It's a 1. I gave it a 2.
It's a 1.
Supporting characters. Clyde Kusatsu as Captain Ken Callahan. He wants to quit the force and run for mayor. He doesn't like Jake, but he likes his results.
To give it kind of away, I give a half point for him.
Good for you.
Because he is clearly having the most charismatic fun than anyone is having.
You ache for him to be in this movie more because it's like an actor.
Right. And someone that's having some fun with what he's doing, and like even like towards the end where all of a sudden he starts to try to make it about his mayoral campaign, and they go away from it, and I'm like, no, go back. It was the most interesting thing going on.
He's
go
definitely
back.
the most interesting human in this movie.
Yes.
He tells Jake and Reno to sit when they start beefing, which they do. Good dog. Good Jake.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that stuff. Shame the movie cut out. I remember there being more to this part in one of the trailers that I'd seen where he is just so enamored with the dog even more so, which drives Jake nuts. But honestly, I rewatched one of the trailers and I didn't see it, so maybe I just incepted that into my head. It didn't exist. Anyway, or maybe I just wished it had existed because I wanted more Clyde Satsu. I don't know. I like this actor, and I always delight to see him and stuff.
Are you thinking of elephants?
Is that from The Challenge?
Inception.
Oh, it's from Inception. Okay. Been a minute. I really need to watch that again.
It's a great movie.
It is a great movie. But there are so many other Christopher Nolan movies that I really need to revisit more than Inception because I've watched that one a lot. Anyway, let's go back to this bad movie.
Okay. Fair enough.
I also love the scene where the captain makes a call to find out if the warrant is ready, doesn't say a word, then puts the phone down and says the warrant isn't ready.
Okay. I missed that part, I think.
It's before they go to the white supremacist base or whatever.
Okay.
And he's on the phone. He's like, let me just call and see if the warrant is ready. The warrant isn't ready. Then you got detective or officer Boyette. Not sure. Because the captain called her detective and she called herself officer, so not sure which.
Is she the head of the K9 unit?
No. She's just detective.
So why?
Don't know.
Okay.
Not totally explained.
Yeah, all of a sudden she's really knowledgeable about Reno. She's just a fan.
You know what?
I don't know.
Were I a cop, I'd want to hang out with the dogs too.
I guess so, but it's just weird.
She wears tights all the time with dominatrix boots the whole movie, and she's a big fan of Reno. There's really nothing more to her character besides that.
Other than she doesn't trust Jake.
Which is fair.
With the care of the dog.
Yeah. It's a bit of a shit.
And she does have some agency to chase down to take out one guy, I guess.
Yeah. She gets
she does
the many man.
Some shooting.
That's she's played by Michelle Lamar Richards. I didn't really ever see her in anything before or after this.
She's not good.
I mean, good luck.
She's
not
like.
Good luck to anybody trying to be good in this, but yeah.
She's not Chuck Norris bad.
No.
But it's definitely not great.
Yeah. Then you got Carmine. Sorry, I forgot to write Caridi playing Lou Swanson.
Okay, yeah.
He's fine.
Not in it for very long.
Seemed pretty old to be a beat cop.
I don't think he's a beat cop.
He's a beat cop. Well, he's
Is
not.
he?
He's he's like a detective or whatever. He's a canine cop. To be active still in the force at his age seemed odd.
But it seemed like more undercover, but it almost seemed like I'll help out what I can.
He just kind of appeared in places, didn't he?
Yeah, like I'll just go and do this. Like what is your role? Like are you like a substitute teacher on the force with your canine dog? I don't.
Anyway, he was in Godfather 1 and Godfather 2. He played Carmine Rosado, one of the Rosado brothers. So respect to him.
Fair enough.
Matthew Swanson, played by Eric Von Detten, is the grandson of Lou. He really loves Reno a whole bunch and enjoys spoiling him with jelly donuts. He rides around San Diego on his bike, showing up everywhere like it's a small town. And
isn't it weird, too, that San Diego is having such a minority problem? That we need to get rid of.
I don't know, man.
I'm not well-versed in San Diego.
It's not Orange County.
It's not
Orange County.
Not the town I would have, went with. You know what I mean?
It's not Orange County. It's near the border. So it's,
Maybe. Sure.
He was also the voice of Sid in Toy Story, which came out the same year.
Yeah, well, look at that. Yeah. I also thought it was weird. His grandfather there
Lou
sends him off to school, and that's where we get his first BMX jump.
Yep.
He's got no book bag or anything.
Good call.
And I was concerned.
Did not notice that. I also want to give a quick shout out to Mom Wilder. She doesn't get a character name, just Jake's mom. Played by Herta Ware, who knows when Hitler's birthday
Isn't she
is.
just on the phone?
No, she's a character. She's been in the movie. She's got the 2 different scenes. Remember, she's freaking out when Jake runs away and doesn't plant the tree correctly.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, do remember that.
Anyway, she knows when Hitler's birthday is, and I couldn't help but wonder if she smokes the marijuana too.
So she's a white supremacist and she's a marijuana smoker, you thinking?
I'm just saying she was very aware of 420, and
Right.
I was interested in that she knew that so well. She's like, but if I was a terrorist, I'd do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is Hitler's birthday. I was like, Jake's like, well, how did you know that? She's like, I don't know. I just watched something. I knew it. You're under suspicion now, Mom. Anyway, I gave this a 1-1, but you're probably right. I probably should have bumped it up to a 1.5 because Clyde. But considering I don't want to raise my score, so I'm fine with just keeping it as a 1.
I gave it a 1.5 just for
Clyde.
for Ken there, and I ended up going for a total of 5.
I gave this a 6.5.
That is way too high. Okay. I mean, it's still lower than.
I gave a 1.5 for the heroes and a half because an extra half point for the dog. A 1 for the villain, a 2 for action just because I like the explosions, and then a 1 for supporting characters.
Explosions.
I did not go crazy.
You have it points tied at least with Congo for me.
Oh, I had a higher score for Congo, don't I?
You do. I said you had 8.5 for Congo.
Yeah, I stand by it. Congo's a much better movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, that's why I got it at 6.5, but I have Top Dog at 5.
So Tim, it's time to play America's favorite new game.
Body mass alone.
Body mass alone.
I don't want to have conversations anymore about dudes' physiques.
Dennis,
and whether they can.
body mass alone.
That's what I was trying to avoid. A conversation about body mass.
Okay.
Chuck walks around in a bathrobe and boxer shorts at one point with big hearts on them. Not looking too buff.
Yeah, I was trying to say, I don't think there's any kind of
Giving this a 1.
shown.
Very disappointing.
It's definitely 1. This has been a rough body mass alone season.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. We're just not hitting the roids as much at this point. Maybe it's because I don't know if you watched the Mr. McMahon documentary yet on Netflix.
I did. I finished it the other night.
Maybe we're hitting that maybe we shouldn't do the roids anymore kind of stuff.
It's interesting how they kind of danced around. Well, everybody was doing it, and then there's other ones where it's well, roids don't make you kill your whole family, and then all of a sudden well, but maybe we should stop with the concussion stuff. It's so weird how they kind of danced around stuff.
I didn't love it, but we're not here to talk about it.
The documentary? I thought parts were interesting, especially for the eras I completely missed.
Which was most of it.
Well, I mean, definitely like...
I'm in the same boat. We stopped watching wrestling at the exact same time, so...
Yeah, basically right around...
I think we played the video games more with our cousins more than we ever actually watched any of the things.
Yeah, and that was... When we did play the video games, it was way after we stopped watching.
Yeah, I didn't know who any of the characters were.
Yeah, I didn't know any of them either. And so, like, I felt like Bret Hart and the rise of Bret Hart was, like, basically right when I was out.
Yeah.
So that's... But anyway, I thought parts were interesting, but otherwise, yeah, I was... Like, okay. But yeah, so yeah, disappointing Body Mass Alone season so far. I'm curious what now I'm curious to look back on what is the highest Body Mass Alone. I guess Mortal Kombat's gotta be...
There's a lot of beefcake in that one.
Mortal Kombat's gotta be the highest rank so far for body mass for sure.
You're probably right.
Yeah. All right,
this was directed by Aaron Norris, Chuck's younger brother.
Yeah.
Did you know Chuck's first name is really Carlos? I did not.
I did not either.
There you go. Anyway, Aaron started off as a stunt coordinator and later became a director-writer for his brother's movies. He also directed Sidekicks.
And I like that movie.
Yeah. I think these days he's mostly just a stunt coordinator.
Okay.
He did the first Ant-Man movie as a stunt coordinator. So, yeah. This movie had a budget of $6 million. Which is a little over $12.3 million today, and a worldwide gross of a little over $5 million. A little over $10.5 million today. So when this movie came out...
Made too much money.
Well, hold on. Let me actually do this part first. Debuted at number 8 in its debut weekend. Number 1 was While You Were Sleeping in its second week of release. Other debuts that week were Friday, which came in at number 2 that week, and Village of the Dam, which came at number 5, and Destiny Turns on the Radio, which came out at number 15. You're giving me a face for Destiny Turns on the Radio, and Quentin Tarantino will be delighted that you're making that face because he doesn't want anybody to remember it, but I remember Quentin. I remember this movie existed.
So an early Tarantino movie.
Not that early. Not so early that they fucking threw on the Pulp Fiction music onto the trailer because they had Quentin Tarantino playing a bit part in this movie. Just they were trying to get some Pulp Fiction dollars. It's gross. But anyway, funny thing about this movie. So the villains in this movie, white supremacist terrorists trying to blow things up. Guess what happened just before this movie came out? The Oklahoma City bombing. Yeah, Timothy McVeigh. All that. Yeah. So, guess what people weren't into watching? A movie about white supremacist terrorists blowing shit up.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
It's bad timing, huh?
That is some real bad timing. Woof. Wow.
That sucks.
Ooh. And clearly, I don't think Chuck Norris was at peak Chuck Norris at this time.
He's cashing Texas Ranger dollars. Walker Texas Ranger.
Yeah, but if he's only fresh off season 1,
yeah,
that's not even like. I mean, Chuck, that show lasts a long time, doesn't it?
Oh, a long time. But once he's doing the TV show, he's not really like into the.
He's not the same. Like his heyday was the 80s.
Yes.
Yeah. I was never a fan.
I gotta tell you, going through Aaron and Chuck's filmography, there is a Chuck Norris movie I gotta track down someday.
Okay.
He did a movie. What is it called? Hold on a second. Sorry, this will not take too long. Hellbound?
That doesn't sound like a Chuck movie.
2 Chicago cops investigate a murder until they encounter an ancient demon. I would like to see Chuck Norris fight a demon.
So this could be closer to the first movie we saw in that season 1. That actually was kind of like a nice surprise.
I don't know. I don't want to give it that much credit, but this came out in 1994, and I'm almost positive it was direct-to-video.
94?
Yeah, Hellbound. Chuck Norris versus a demon.
Oh boy, now I'm suspect. 90s Chuck, I'm not so sure.
I'm a fucking demon. So what are we watching next week, Tim?
I I was really going back and forth here as usual, but I'm gonna go with Virtuosity.
Ooh.
Come on, Parker!
Sid 6.7? Let's go.
That's right. That's right. I
insanity.
I definitely talked last week about, oh, well, maybe I'll do Fair Game next week. And I was like, this brought such a disappointment to my life. It crushed my soul that I was like, I need something. And so I decided I was going to go between two movies. And I was like, nah, let's go Virtuosity. I know some people like to mock this movie.
No, it's good. Screw them.
I defend this movie. This movie's way too much freaking fun.
Game over.
Game over. Yeah, it's so great. There's so much fun stuff to be in this movie. It's a good time. So Virtuosity.
It is definitely in my opinion, was a star-making performance by Russell Crowe. It's like, oh, who's this?
Oh yeah, he basically goes like full on like, oh, I'm gonna be a villain. Like I'm going for it. Like yes.
It honestly, I think it takes Denzel by surprise a couple times. This movie is like, okay, I can't give too much energy for this movie because the role doesn't require it, but it's fucked up how this guy's blowing me off the screen.
Well, because I think Denzel has to be a certain type of character. Like he's got to be the battle-ridden, I've been through some stuff.
Right, he's doing
guy.
He's doing the part correctly. He was like, I have to be low-key in this movie, and I don't want to be versus this guy. It sucks.
Because I want to go where you're going.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I like where you're going.
Exactly.
All right. It's so much fun, and I remember being a big fan of this movie too when it came out.
Yeah.
So, woo!
That's right. All right. That is it for us. Please show us your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of Film Bro Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
It stinks!
Oh. That makes me so happy.